Good morning, everyone. Today's Thursday, March 24th, 2022. The time is 11:04 a.m. A special meeting agenda to consider human resource personnel changes. Calling the meeting to order, attending Commissioners Duncan Brooks and Filios. And are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none. First business item, pay increase for seasonal solid waste technician, solid waste. Doug, will you be speaking to this?
Yes.
Right ahead.
So Doug Goodwin, Solid Waste. So we're requesting an adjustment to the wage for seasonal employees from $14 to $15 an hour. We anticipate hiring 6 to 7 seasonal employees. Two of
Okay.
those are part-time seasonal, so they work 2 days a week. Last year, we only recruited 3 people, and they were people that had worked for us in the past. And 2 of them were the part-timers and 1 that did work 40 hours a week. So we're hoping with a wage increase, we can attract more people this year.
Sure. And then bringing forth in the budget season, would you bring this increase forth?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you're anticipating 6 to 7 seasonals?
yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and it's going to get busier, I imagine, as we go forth. And how are we paying for this? It's in your budget, presumably?
Yes, so this money is actually in our operating budget
Okay.
for the seasonals.
Okay. Any questions for Doug?
Nope.
Motion?
I move that we approve the pay increase for the seasonal solid waste technicians.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, motion's carried. Thank you, Doug. Item number 2, request for additional overtime allowance for fiscal year 22 District Court. Okay.
Just push your button, Callie. There you go.
Thank you. Callie Young, for the record, and we, at this point, have been very busy in the courts. We are working through a huge backlog now that everything is transitioning to in-person. Most of everything will be by the end of April, and so we have been in full swing, jury trials, and just working through the last 2 years' worth of backlog. So we have gone through a lot of our overtime, as well as next week, we will be implementing all new courtroom equipment. So the Supreme Court's flying up and doing a complete renovation of all of our courtrooms. So there will be some major training as far as the upgrades and the technology that they will be using as well. So it is budget neutral. We do have it. We're just asking that if we do happen to go over towards the end of the budget, that it would be covered.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions?
No, I'm fine with it. And then
We have
if you
to-
do go over, come out of contingency.
Contingency, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Bill, you okay?
Yep, I'm fine.
Motion?
I move that we approve the request for additional overtime for FY '22 for district court out of contingency.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, motion is carried. Thank you. Item number 3, budget code change and deactivation of part-time investigator. Juvenile probation, Deb.
I think we got all of that, actually.
I think we have it.
Yes. With my memo. Did you not put a memo in the thing? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Is any of this stuff, is it all public record?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make
Yep,
sure.
yep. Go ahead, Deb.
So Commissioners, just as a reminder, so we have a number of different funding streams for our budgets. Juvenile Corrections Act, tobacco tax, lottery funds, as well as our basic operations budget. Our Juvenile Corrections Act budget is we solely use it to fund positions, so there's no B budget or anything out of that Juvenile Corrections Act funding. Over the last 2 years, we've recognized a shortfall in what we are receiving in that Juvenile Corrections Act revenue to cover the 4 probation officer positions that are paid out of that currently. I'm proposing that we move one of those positions into our basic ops budget and one of those positions into our tobacco tax budget.
Okay,
We have enough revenue in tobacco tax to cover that and still allow us to have some of that carryover, which we use. Those are restricted funds, which we've used for major repairs at the detention center, at our juvenile justice center, fleet vehicles, programming. I mean, there are a lot of uses for that restricted carryover funds that we have. I would like to, we have a part-time position in our basic ops budget that has been vacant for a year. And we've kind of been waiting to see with things opening back up after COVID, whether we're really going to need that position or not. We've come to the decision that we can do without that part-time position. So that would offset part of moving that position from the Juvenile Corrections Act into the basic ops budget. So the reality is the basic ops budget is covering that shortfall. So we really are going to see a savings, and by moving those two positions, it will allow us to recoup some of that shortfall that we've seen over the last 2 years.
So basically, you're making moves within the budget so that the available funds will cover the changes that you're making.
That's correct.
Okay.
So it's going to look like a slight increase in the basic ops budget, but the reality is, again, we've been covering that shortfall.
Okay.
So we really are going to see a savings.
Okay.
So if we, I know, so if we temporarily freeze this position, do you think you would bring it back for FY '23 in the budget?
I do not anticipate that, Commissioner.
Okay.
You know, through attrition and efficiencies over the last 10 years that I've been director, we've actually trimmed 4 full-time and 1 part-time position already.
Okay.
We really do not foresee that we're going to need to fill that part-time position.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, then. Thanks, Deb. Okay, item number 4,
I'll make a motion
ooh, jumped the gun, go right ahead.
to approve the budget code change and deactivate the part-time investigator for juvenile probation.
I agree. This is a very well thought out proposal.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Does that count as second?
Do you want a second?
Sure, second. Nobody asked for my comments.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Jeez, okay. Okay, now we can move on. Okay, number 4, bonus request for training personnel technician, Sheriff's Office. Captain Smart, take it away, sir.
Commissioners, we have a section in our a unit up there. It's a 2-person section. And we had an FMLA event that has been going on for about 4 months and it's looking to go on further. In the interim, we've had an employee who has been taking on both roles since that time and doing double duty far beyond, what's expected of her. And so we're looking for a one-time bonus of $1,000 to reward her for her efforts in what she's been doing up there.
Okay, so I rather term it one-time stipend in lieu of higher
bonus.
duty pay. Okay, so,
Here, go ahead.
When somebody's
Say
doing-
again? I'm not
Right.
hearing.
Okay, go ahead.
It's, the 2 jobs are at the same grade, and so
right, no, I understand that, but we could have addressed it along those lines. Not, I know what you're saying.
Yes.
But in my mind, this is not opening it up the county for let's do bonuses now based on performance. This is one of those situations for double coverage. And I think we did the same thing for one of your maintenance workers as well.
And so
In
what
the
are you
past.
suggesting?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, yes. The
nothing.
answer is yes.
a good idea.
I just don't like the word bonus because it's,
The word
We'll
bonus.
use the
Yes.
bonus.
Okay.
Stipend.
All right.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because you're not,
You don't care.
And as long
Yeah.
as you're clarifying that she's going to
yes, she's getting it, yeah.
get it resolved in her next paycheck for that, I'm fine
Yes,
with how you wanna-
absolutely.
How you want to use the terminology on that.
Yeah. Just want to make sure that everybody watching and listening throughout the county doesn't say, oh, okay, they approved a bonus, we're going to go ahead and put in for bonuses. That's not this case.
If we were for profit, it might work. But not- Okay, fair enough.
And, I don't think there are that many situations, if any more, that I know of throughout the county. So this is a unique situation, and I appreciate what's being done.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Motion.
I move that we approve the stipend/bonus request for training personnel technician and sheriff's office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion's carried. Thank you, Captain Smart. Item number 5, pay adjustment for experienced seasonal Marine deputies, Sheriff's Office, under Sheriff Mattos. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. As you're, I'm sure, acutely aware that we have challenges on our waterways and in particular on Spokane River. And we're anticipating a busy season, particularly with the absence or seemingly absence of COVID this year. We'll see what happens with the next variant. But with that said, right now we have 5 seasonal Marine deputies hired. And we have 1 that's available to us from Post Falls that we know for sure. So that's roughly 6 of the ideal number that what we would like to, or what we usually try to put out there.
It's half of the number you want.
Yeah, half, yes. So with that said, we've been strategizing. We're doing whatever we can do. And one of the thoughts that came up was trying to attract retired police officers. They're kind of plug and play, with the only exception of them learning the waterways and the laws that's applicable to that. And, I just believe that it's at least possible that if we raise the wage up to an attractive wage, we may be able to get them out of retirement to come in and work on the boats during the summer. So what we're proposing is a amendment of that seasonal Marine wage for retired police officers only, not for the regular ones. And we'd like to move it from $18.50 to $25 an hour in the hopes that we can attract some more candidates.
What does that do to the current staff, Dan?
To
The current patrol deputies, in terms of their hourly wage?
It could be more than some of the younger deputies, but, they're not getting benefits, they're not getting
Oh, I see.
sick time and
Okay.
vacation time, they're just they're seasonal employees. A starting deputy are right around $21 an hour, they're gonna be making more, but they don't get benefits, they don't get.
And they have many, many years on.
Yeah, they've got.
Yes.
yeah,
Of
the
experience.
is what you're paying for.
Yeah.
So, again, it's just another attempt I don't want to call it thinking out of the box, and I don't want it to be called throwing money at it, but it's something we did come up with which we thought, if it works, great, and if it doesn't, then we're no worse off.
Right.
How are we paying for this?
There's extra dollars, or there's available dollars to some degree in the recreational boating safety, RBS dollars, and I believe that we could pay for whatever other additions there may be to the budget through our salary salvage.
Yep.
And I'm not the expert on the RBS dollars, but Will, do you want to speak to whether we can cover that or not?
Will Klinkafus, Lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office, for the record. Yeah, the RBS grant is only finite, and the commissioners are very well versed in that, and so we're just unsure that increase in pay could be absorbed by the RBS grant. It could be, but we'd like the undersheriff is saying we'd like that buffer to be able to use extra dollars out of the salary salvage if needed.
Yeah, I'm fine. I would go as far as even contingency at the end of the year if somehow it doesn't. I want bodies in.
Yeah, we need 'em.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then maybe this could lead to these Marine deputies wanting to stay on as a reserve program or something. So I think it's a great way to get them in the door.
We'll take whatever we can get right now. We're trying to fill the vacancies, so.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
Bill, you okay?
I'm okay, but don't call it salary salvage.
Did I say salary salvage? I know that makes you
I
mad,
hate
Bill,
that
sorry.
because
Salary
people-
savings.
Savings.
Yeah,
It's been imprinted into my brain
I
for
know.
so many,
25 years?
Yeah.
26.
Okay.
yeah.
Are we good?
Yep. All
Motion.
right. I move that,
Dina's,
I'm sorry, Dina, go ahead.
So I just have a quick question. So this means that the current pools would stay the same and that we would add a pool for 6 more people at the 25?
not necessarily, we have room for 12 in RBS, but because we're increasing the wage to hopefully get those additional 6, then that's where it may go outside of RBS, then we may need to look for salary savings or,
Okay, so we'll need to get with the sheriff's office and nail down what those
Right.
numbers are gonna be.
Yes.
Because right now we have 2 pools sitting in in that particular budget.
Okay.
So we'll want to talk about from now through this season, and then what's going to be coming in the budget, and should we be plugging something into the budget for that?
Yeah, especially if we can get bodies in there, then I would support money going forward. This is not something that we can do without anymore.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Dina. Motion?
I think I
Did you?
made one, but I'll make it
do
again.
it again. I
I
don't think-
move that we approve the pay adjustment for the experienced seasonal Marine deputies.
I second the motion or motions.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, Dan. Item number 6, career progression from residential 1 to 2. That's residential appraiser. Assessor's office. Reba?
Yes, we've got an appraiser that's finished his year experience, plus got all his certification to become an appraiser too. We do have an open 2 position that we can just slide him in, so we're not changing anything there.
Okay, Sylvia?
I just wanted to clarify, actually, we didn't need Reba to come before the board on this because she has the opening in the assessor's office. And it would be a promotion, and the step and grade that they proposed for this individual falls within our comp policy and promotional policy.
So it would have been a status change form.
It would have been a status change
Okay.
form, but it's always better to be safe.
Okay.
Sure, no problem.
All right, so we're going from roughly 1980 to 2137
Yeah.
per hour
But it's not an increase like that shows because they have an open position.
because they have an open position. Understood. Okay. Motion.
I move that we approve the career progression from residential appraiser 1 to 2 in the assessor's office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion is carried. Public comment? Hearing none. 11:21, meeting adjourned. Thank you.